Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ring Ready. Home of the Owner Handler. This is Lee Whittier. I'm with Dan Sayers. And we're here to talk about winning at Westminster, the year of the Owner Handler. Dan did his magic act and he disappeared. We call him Disappearing Dan now, but he will be back and he can't hear us. So he's going to pick up where I leave off once he's back. So the 145th Westminster Kennel Club show proved to be quite a success, and the year of the Owner Handler. And we're going to talk about some of those owner handlers who did some serious winning. You're back.
I am back. Hello, Lee, and hello, everyone. Lee, I'm sure you've welcomed everyone to Ring Ready Live, the home of the Owner Handler, brought to you each week by Showsite Magazine. And Lee, I think I heard you say that we are going to be talking about some of the owner handler winners at Westminster. And some people are calling this year's show an owner handled show. It was exciting to watch some of the breed judging, and some of the placements in the group were certainly dogs that were owner handled. And so we'll be talking about that a little bit later on. But before we get to that, I want to remind everyone that this is your time each week to sit down and join Lee and I for a discussion about all things that are important to you, the owner handler. And feel free to leave us a note here in the comments section. Let us know where you live, what is your breed, and if you attended Westminster this year, let us know a little bit about your experience at this show. As I'm sure you're aware, this year's show was held at the Lyndhurst Estate. It was outdoors. It was a very different experience, but it was exciting. It was elegant. It was all things purebred dog nonetheless. And if you happen to be home, wherever home is, and you were watching the live streaming of the breed judging, or you're watching the groups in the evenings, we'd love to hear from you as well. Let us know what you thought of the show and what you thought of some of the owner handlers who were exhibiting their dogs this year. So Lee, without further ado, I'd like to recap a little bit about last week. We received a few questions that came in that we weren't able to get to, and I was hoping that you had some time to respond to Julia's questions that she had about showing dogs. And specifically, Julia wonders if overtraining causes a dog to become ring sour. What do you think about that?
Well, so that's an interesting question, Julia, and thank you for asking that, because overtraining in itself isn't a problem. It's when you're training the wrong things. And overtraining, what exactly does that mean? That at the point where your dog starts to anticipate you, or is it the point where you didn't realize you're pushing your dog? So at Dog Show Mentor, we talk about two things related to this. One is right practice. Are you practicing the right things in the right way? And the other thing we talk about is knowing where your dog's edge is and don't go past that. So some dogs need 5 repetitions. Some dogs need 1 repetition. Some dogs really love to learn automatically, and some dogs need encouragement to learn how to learn. And some of that will depend on how that puppy was born and raised in its early life. So sometimes things that can happen are owner handlers need to practice themselves. They need to get in that 10,000 hours of their own, how to throw the lead around the neck or how to stack a dog. And I recommend that you, if you have another dog that you're not showing right now, maybe a retired show dog, that would love to work with you, get that dog and practice what you need to learn on that dog and with that dog. So I can't answer every question here, but keeping the dog's tail up, everything is a combination of a trick. So there's a piercing sound coming through. And I apologize to the audience for that. I'm not sure what we can do about that. Perhaps our producer can address that. Thank you for letting us know. And perhaps you can get farther away from your headset. So keeping the tail up, everything is a trick, but also everything is getting the dog to make it think it's its own idea to train, right? So you've got to be a really good trainer. And that's a whole different segment. But research what kinds of things make you a better trainer. And that will help you teach your dog to keep its tail up. But it's all about your own ability to get into your dog's head. And whatever you can do to do that, I would suggest you do it. Okay.
Thank you for that, Lee. You know, as you're providing another in-depth answer, I'm thinking of my own 5-month-old puppy, whom I'm taking out into the world. And I've noticed just recently that as she experiences new sounds, sights, and smells, I notice her tail coming down a little bit. And she's sort of telling me I'm a little bit unsure. And your answer has me realizing that the problem of the tail not being carried as it should according to its breed standard isn't really a tail issue. It's a training and it's a confidence issue. Right. It's something that I need to work on. And you've given some good answers. I can become better if I take my special who's sitting at home and would love a refresher course, you know, that I can maybe even gain some of that confidence as a trainer through working with the mature dogs. So I hope that others who have an older dog maybe that they can access will take advantage of that dog's experience, and also maybe reach out to the Dog Show Mentor to find more specific solutions in terms of building in that confident relationship with a dog that's maybe unsure of itself at the moment. Lee, I know I say it every week that you are the Dog Show Mentor and that listeners can reach out to you directly. But would you once again tell us about the Facebook page, the Dog Show Mentor Facebook page, and also how they can reach out to the Dog Show Mentor and gain access to your experience as a coach and as a mentor?
Yeah, so the Facebook page is really a place for you to ask questions and to learn. And when you first come on the page, I ask you to answer some questions about yourself so that I can understand who's in the group and how I can best help you. But also, so the Facebook page also, I've reached out to people and asked them, what kind of topics would you like us to cover in this weekly Ring Ready Dog Show Mentor combo live? Like, what are your topics? And so when you're in that group, you get to help us choose our topics. And so it's really a position of sort of input and power for you guys. So I would strongly suggest that you do that. I also ask you the question, like, what is your breed? And give us a hallmark of your breed so that everybody can learn from each other. It's not just a place to brag, although I thoroughly appreciate people celebrating, but it's a place where you can come and learn more about yourself, what your in-depth knowledge is, where you don't have knowledge, and where other people can help you gain that, as well as my own input. and I make a very strong attempt to respond to all the posts. I'm at least like your posts so that you know that I've seen them, and they are opportunity for us here on these lives to answer questions as well. So come and join that. It's free. Dog Show Mentor Owner Handlers is the Facebook group, which is differentiated from the Dog Show Mentor program. And I'm going to cover that later on, but I wanted to let you know that there's great value in this free group. So come and do that. I mean, there's no reason not to. All right.
And there's no reason not to leave a comment here at Ring Ready Live. Lee and I want to encourage you always to let us know your thoughts about what you're hearing us talking about, or if something happened to you and your owner handled dog in or out of the ring and during the past week. We'd love to hear from you. Share that news and that question with us. And as I mentioned, I was attending Westminster this past week with most of the show site team, and we met a lot of you owner handlers. You were gracious enough to say hello and share some of your thoughts about the show with us. It was great to meet you. It's always great to hear from you. Please don't hesitate. Lee and I have created this program for you. And as Lee said a moment ago, we are looking to be sort of a voice for you, the owner handler. If there's something important that you feel needs to be addressed, let Lee know. Reach out to me, and we will certainly find a way to format a 30-minute program around that. This is your 30 minutes, as I've always said. And despite the fact that we occasionally have some technical difficulties, I've been known to disappear. I'm now known as Disappearing Dan. I can't say that I do it intentionally. Right now, we sort of have a loud sound, and I apologize for that. But despite that, you know, we're going to continue, and we're going to be here, be a voice for you, the owner handler. And Lee, I think of these distractions sort of the way I think of distractions when I'm in the ring, right? There, you know, you're in there with your dog, you practice, you work, there's a major on the line, and all of a sudden that loudspeaker goes off, a dog starts barking, a child starts screaming. You have to stay cool. All of your working towards that moment, all of the coaching that you've received from the Dog Show Mentor and from others, that's going to allow you to succeed and to push through that. So for us, it's some technical issues in the ring. It could be that and more. So without further ado, I just want to talk a little bit, Lee, about Westminster. This was, as I said, a once-in-a-lifetime show. Unlike every show in the club's 145 years, it was held someplace other than New York City. The groups and Best in Show were not determined in Madison Square Garden, and instead the Westminster Kennel Club show committee provided the most spectacular venue on the Lyndhurst Estates in Tarrytown, New York. And the fancies showed up. It was amazingly organized. It was every attention to detail was met. Everyone's health was considered in that everyone needed to have their temperature taken in the morning. You had to submit information via an app on a site that Westminster Kennel Club provided for all attendees, including exhibitors. But once you arrived at the site, it was a typical, elegant, outdoor East Coast venue, a big, beautiful white tent, tenting for grooming. There were vendors, including some of show site supporters such as Embark, and there was a magical tent that was set up for the group and the Best in Show judging. And although I was fortunate enough to be there in person to witness all of this and to see how it had all come together, and of course to see the beautiful dogs owner handled and otherwise, Lee, I know that you were judging at the Windy City cluster in the Chicago area, and you had a chance, as many of our viewers did, to watch the program either live streaming during the day or the broadcast in the evening. And I'm just curiously, how was it for you to be a viewer of Westminster when it wasn't happening in New York City? Was it a different experience in any way?
Well, it was. And before I get to my experience, I want to say that Julia Swanson says that her niece from Nome, Alaska, Letty Hughes, took her elk hound and Sheba to Westminster.
Wonderful.
And she's very proud of her owner-handler accomplishments. Lindy says she has Carrie Blues, and she's not getting this sound. So that's good. Some of you aren't. That's great. And Sarah says, Vinny, my first Sabethian hound and first show dog, attended Westminster together, and they got an award of merit. Congratulations to Sarah.
Well done, Sarah, and well done to everyone who was there and who traveled from near and far to compete at this once-in-a-lifetime show.
And our own Megan says that it was a wonderful show, and hats off to all the staff. And I want to, at this point, say, from the Windy City, the show committees of those clubs arranged for us to have a conference room, and the judges and a few members of the show committee sat and watched the groups on Saturday night. And that was a great experience because I could not tell that this was a tent. The way that Westminster Kennel Club had it set up, it looked just like Madison Square Garden. And it was beautiful. It was beautifully done. The way the cameras panned to the estate itself and back again gave you the feeling that the judges were actually walking into the estate building itself. So it was flawlessly executed. And then the dogs were exceptionally beautiful. There were so many owner-handled dogs that, for me, that was pretty exciting. But more than that, quality handled dogs. As you know, there are many owner-handlers who reach the bar of professionalism who don't get paid to do it. And sometimes there are owner-handlers who are breeder owner-handlers who are also professional handlers. So I don't like to differentiate there. My focus is on, is this dog a quality dog? And is he handled as he's deserved to be handled? So I think it was a phenomenal experience. I wish I had been able to be there. I had a great experience. I want to thank the committee members of the Windy City cluster for doing a phenomenal job with those shows, and particularly as it relates to being opposite Westminster weekend, and how that really gave them a sense of, I felt it was an important show cluster for those people who, for whatever reason, either didn't get their entries into Westminster or couldn't get there themselves. And Nikki says she didn't go this year because she didn't get in. And I'm sorry to hear that, Nikki. Hopefully next year you will be able to get in. All right. So what was your experience, Dan? I haven't talked to you since then, and I'm dying to know, how was it? How was it on the grounds?
It was, spectacular from start to finish. And on Friday, the Agility Masters competition was held. So I was there to watch some of those dogs run agility. Those exhibitors are just wonderful to be around. I have to say that the atmosphere was a bit lighter, if you will, more of a party atmosphere when I was there. And I think that's due largely to the fact that agility is kind of a higher energy, sustained energy sport. But on Saturday, when I got there bright and early, there was a long line to get onto the grounds. which kind of only built the excitement when we finally did get on the show grounds. And I want to give a shout out to everyone who managed the parking at that site. You guys and gals did a wonderful job of getting everyone in and set up quickly and efficiently. But then walking from the parking to the rings, it was, yeah, it was just as it always is at a show like Westminster. Just everybody seemed so happy to be there. It was almost a sense of shared relief that, hey, we are here, and somehow this club managed to put on a show that they didn't have to go a year without a Westminster, that their uninterrupted history in America remains uninterrupted. And so I think that everyone sort of felt like it was a reunion of sorts. And then the national anthem was played, and it was a dog show. And there you were, sitting, watching the best of the best. Those whose entries made it in, I should say. But breed after breed, ring after ring, the quality handled dogs, Lee, were all over the place in every ring and in every breed. I happen to watch, if I may say, Randy Guerin judge the Coonhound breeds. And those are breeds that I know, not much about, but I am fascinated with their history as American breeds. And watching this judge go over the entries in those American breeds was really a thrill for me. And seeing those exhibitors exhibiting their breeds at Westminster, when it wasn't that long ago when the only Coonhound breed that was shown there was the Black and Tan. And here we had the Plott, the Redbone, the Blue Tick. It was really a thrill. And you only get that at shows like Westminster. So that was especially thrilling. And then, of course, there were the standard poodle rings, the English Springer Spaniel ring, one after another. And even the breeds where there was an entry of 2, and even 1. I saw an American Water Spaniel. That was the only entry. And that was a wonderful, wonderful dog. So the show didn't disappoint, Lee. And I don't think that I was expecting it to disappoint. In fact, I think, like everyone who attended, I think we're always going to remember 2021 as the Lyndhurst Westminster. And, I did hear people say, do you think they'll have it here again? I think that it was so, such a joy to be there this year. And as you said, watching it on television and live streaming didn't disappoint either. And when I went back and watched the groups in Best in Show, I agree with you, Lee. It looked and felt just like Madison Square Garden. Everything from the lighting, the flowers, and even the announcer's voice sounded exactly the same as it does when he is speaking from the chair at Madison Square Garden. So again, like you, Lee, I want to commend the Westminster Kennel Club for delivering above and beyond. And again, that wasn't the only show held this weekend, as you well know. And you said that other clubs, no doubt, had to maybe step up their game a little bit. And as a judge on one of those panels, you received VIP treatment, I'm sure. I think the dog sport in America is really on the upswing. I think we have a lot to be proud of and much to be thankful for. And before I move on, I just want to mention a few of the owner handlers who did really well at Westminster at Lyndhurst this year. And first, I want to congratulate Lynn Lozano, whose Scottish Deerhound was the breed winner. And I'd like to also congratulate Curtis Freeling, whose Beathen was best of breed this year. Both of those hounds were owner handled. And one of the more exciting breed winners was a Rottweiler bitch who was shown by Zoe Kiffer, who is, I believe, a 15-year-old junior handler. So Zoe, if you're watching, well done, my dear. Congratulations to you. It is not everyone who can win the breed in Rottweilers at a show like Westminster, but you showed all of us how to do it. So thank you for showing up. Congratulations to you and your dog. And thank you, Megan, for providing us with word of these winners. We know that there are others who competed with their owner-handled dogs and won their breeds as well. And I hope to provide an article in Ring Ready that will introduce your stories to our readers.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really fun.
I look forward to that, Dan.
For everyone. So again, congratulations to all. Lee, do we have any other questions that have maybe come
so I wanted to mention that Nikki came back and said that she won Best of Breed at Westminster with her bitch in 2019, and she's still excited over it. And so if you're thinking, well, I don't want to go, it's too much trouble, it's too hard, go. All right. So I do have a question that I would love to answer because it was asked a while ago of me privately, and I dropped the ball a little bit. And this is for Elizabeth. Yeah, we want to hear your stories. Yes, we do. Elizabeth wants to purchase a show dog, and she's planning on breeding her bitch, this breeder that she found. But she wants to know, is it unreasonable to not take a puppy at 8 weeks with intentions of showing it if you can't tell what the puppy will grow into? And do breeders pick a puppy out for a client with hopes of it maturing properly, or would they keep the puppy a bit longer? And I only have a couple minutes, Elizabeth, but I want to say that each breed is different. I evaluated my Rottweilers between 7 and 8 weeks. I evaluate my Tibetan Terriers between 10 and 12 weeks. And so each breed develops differently and within lines. So some breeders in each of those breeds might evaluate the dogs at a different age. And is it unreasonable not to take a puppy? Well, if you decide, if your breeder says, I'm choosing them at 8 weeks, and you don't want an 8-week-old puppy, then maybe you can negotiate something with that person to keep it longer. And those conditions would depend entirely on what you and that breeder are willing to do to make that happen for you. Of course, always, if you really want a show dog, buy an adult or a almost fully mature dog from lines that mature at that age, or where that if it looks great at 6 months, then it's going to be a great dog. Or if it's great at 9 months or a year, sometimes it's 18 months. So there's always chance when you buy a dog, there's always a chance that it's either going to have something come up with DNA, it may have hips, it may have eyes. We just don't know, but we always take a chance. And so I'm willing to take those chances because I know that that's the excitement of raising a puppy, and I always try to maximize my chances by buying from a breeder who does DNA testing, who does hips, and all the other testing that the parent club recommends, and someone who implements early socialization. So thank you so much for asking that question, Elizabeth. If you have further questions, please contact me privately through the Dog Show Mentor business page, or you can contact me through Showsite Magazine. All right. We are almost out of time, Dan.
Great. Before we say goodbye, Lee, I just wanted to make a couple announcements. And one is that at Westminster, Megan had a meet and greet that was very successful on both Saturday and Sunday. And there were drawings, and I would just like to give a shout out to the winners of those drawings. Firstly, to Robin Staples, who has American Hairless Terriers. She won an Embark DNA kit for breeders. So congratulations, Robin. That's a wonderful prize. And a custom logo will be designed for Dawn Button, who is a breeder, owner, handler of flat-coated retrievers. So congratulations to you, Dawn, and to you, Robin. And before we sign off, I want to mention that Megan is our client relationship manager for owner handlers, and she has a summer special that she is offering to all owner handlers who advertise their wins and their dogs in Ring Ready. And that summer special is $50 off or the design of a free logo. And I strongly encourage folks to consider custom logo design. Lee, as you know, they are always unique and a very powerful tool in branding your dog and your kennel. So feel free to reach out to Megan at showsitemagazine.com. That is Megan, M-E-E-G-A-N. Megan, I think you're watching, so thank you for all that you're doing, and thanks for being at Westminster and allowing owner handlers to come together and meet the Show Site and Ring Ready team. So Lee, anything else before we say goodbye?
Yes, I wanted to announce the event that I'm having on the 28th of July. And so mark that date on your calendar. It'll be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And more details will be coming on that, but mark that date off, July 28th at 5 p.m. Pacific. And Nikki says, please can you put in the chat Megan's contact information?
Yes, we can do that. And it is Megan, M-E-E-G-A-N, at Showsite Magazine. That's one word, showsitemagazine.com. Nikki, thank you for your question. And Lee, it looks like maybe you have
one more thing. We've got another winner. Susan says that her toy fox terrier won the breed at Westminster this year. Congratulations, Susan. And that's it. Julia says, thank you for answering the questions.
Yes, thank you, Julia. And thank you.
Information that people would like on Dog Show Mentor, dogshowmentor.com. And let me know if you have questions or would like to have a quick meeting. I'd be happy to see if Dog Show Mentor is a good fit for you. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Lee. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week. If your dog won Best of Breed at this year's Westminster, please reach out to me, or I'll be reaching out to you directly. We'd love to feature you this in the coming issue. So, Lee, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Until we get together again next week, continue having fun with your dogs.
And it'll be next week at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, same time.
Thank you, Lee. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye. See you in the winner's circle.
Bye.